Royal Rumble 2026. Let's talk about it. And if it wasn't obvious already, spoiler alert for people who haven't seen it. But anyway, let's get into it. The Women's Royal Rumble. What I liked and what I didn't. Now, I think with the absence of Bianca Belair, that Liv Morgan winning this Royal Rumble was a foregone conclusion. But I don't mind if it's predictable as long as it's executed the right way. And I think that they did a great job of executing. Now, one thing that threw me off just a little bit was I expected some of the bigger names to pop up later, like the Charlotte Flairs and like the Alexa Blisses. But then again, if it's the Royal Rumble, you got to set it off the right way. You got to set it off with a couple of heavy hitters. I also expected a few more legends to make appearances, like the Litas and the Trish Strategists. But hey, no harm, no foul, because it seems like it was more of a NXT call up showcase than more of the legends on display. I mean, come on, we got Brie Bella back, but she's from that Divas era instead of the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression era. But now, what I really wanted to talk about was the MVP or co-MVPs of this Royal Rumble. Lash Legend with the most eliminations, and So Ruka just putting on a wrestling clinic. Bravo, ladies. Well done. If the WWE and professional wrestling world fans don't know who you are, then they know now. And of course, you got the underlying stories of the friction between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair and the Judgment Day ladies. And that Judgment Day is going to explode, or implode rather, because it all depends on what happens at the Elimination Chamber and the Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel Rodriguez match. But yes, it's going to be very, very spicy from now until WrestleMania. But overall, I give the Women's Royal Rumble a 7.5 out of 10. Next, the AJ Styles versus Gunther retirement stipulation match. Look, man, we all know what AJ comes to do. He's a legend in this business. Win, lose, or draw, he puts on a wrestling clinic. And Gunther seems like he could have a good program with damn near anybody on this planet because he's just that good. But yes, this was a 4-star, maybe even 5-star match, depending on who you ask. But yes, high flying spots, brutal clotheslines, power moves. These dudes pulled out every single trick in their arsenal. Even we saw a couple of high flying moves from AJ, and AJ says, "Well, I'm getting older, so I can't do a lot of the high flying stuff anymore." In one of his interviews with Chris Van Vliet, shout out to Chris Van Vliet. But yeah, we even saw him pull out a couple of those moves one last time. But of course, let's talk about that heart wrenching ending. And me personally, I think that the way this match ended is the way that John Cena versus Gunther should have ended. I don't think that John Cena should have tapped out. I think he should have passed out in the hold. And it showed one last little bit of heart from AJ. It's like, well, if you want my career, you're gonna have to take it from me. You're pretty much gonna damn near have to kill me because I'm not gonna give up. And he pretty much just, choked AJ into unconsciousness. But well done, fellas. I will give this match an 8 out of 10. Next up was the WWE Undisputed title match between Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. Now, there's two underlying stories here. The first being is that Sami Zayn declared at the beginning of the year that he is on that world title hunt. It's the one thing in his WWE career that has eluded him. He's done everything else except win one major world title. And the second is the fact that Sami Zayn, his entire WWE career, has never beaten Drew McIntyre in a one-on-one competition. Drew heading into this was 11-0 against Sami Zayn. Now, normally around this time of year, WWE likes to step away from what's predictable and like to swerve us. But unfortunately, this wasn't one of those times. These guys put on a hell of a show, but the ending was predictable. But Sammy went out swinging like he always does because that's part of his underdog persona. But I'm really interested in Elimination Chamber right now because the biggest question is Drew going to hold on to that heavyweight title between now and WrestleMania? I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes, he does. Now, whether that be a singles match or whether it be a triple threat, we don't know. We'll see. I would give this match a 7.5 out of 10. And last but not least, the Men's Royal Rumble, what we all came here to see. Now, there was quite a few surprises. The first one out the gate was Obafemi being number one and Braun Breaker being number two. And Braun Breaker was immediately eliminated within the first 15 seconds due to interference from a mystery superstar. And just a little side note right here, because I'm in the camp that Austin Theory is a sleeper agent for Seth Rollins to break up the Vision from within for betraying him. So that's something to keep on the lookout for. But the only thing that bothered me from this Royal Rumble was the lack of surprises and a couple of quote-unquote wasted spots from AAA guys. A lot of people was like, well, wait a minute, how the hell is Mr. Iguana in this match, but Finn Balor isn't? I'm in that same camp. But regardless, We got the debut of Powerhouse Hobbs slash Royce Keys, what everybody's waiting for. And you got to see Obafemi just flat out dominate in so many possible matchups. You know, Obafemi versus Jacob Fatu, Obafemi versus Gunther, Braun Breaker, the mini match, well, at the beginning, versus Obafemi somewhere down the road. And of course, Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. Now, I thought that Cody Rhodes coming in probably about halfway through the Rumble was a smart move instead of him coming in at the usual beginning, starting us off, or maybe even the Final Four. I thought that was a good move because I actually expected him to be the Iron Man. But speaking of the Iron Man, Javon Evans put on a hell of a showing. And I think that going forward in these Royal Rumbles, that he's going to take the mantle of Kofi Kingston of having all those near-death experience, skin the cat, almost eliminated spots. So, yes, I love that from him. And that intense stare down between Obafemi and Brock Lesnar, teasing a future match between them. Yeah, King Kong versus Godzilla, the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. What else can you say? But we have Roman Reigns being a two-time Royal Rumble winner. And everybody says that this is predictable, but cool your jets because we don't know who he's facing yet. And this is the problem that I kind of have with a lot of the viewers because a lot of people like to say, oh, Triple H is a bad booker. I don't think it's bad booking. I think that the fans are just impatient. Trust the process. The writers and creative know what they're doing. Most of all. Or maybe I just have blind faith in them. But then again, I'm a fan of the product. I'm just a guy on the outside looking in who loves this sport. And some people think that Gunther was a wasted spot. I don't really think so, especially with him coming in at number 30. But he was already a wounded animal with having a 30-plus minute match with AJ. So that pretty much made it easier for anybody else who was coming in or who was already in the Royal Rumble to pick the bones. So yeah, I thought it was good. And also, that gives Gunther a whole bunch of options to work with from here because who knows? He can enter that Elimination Chamber and become a champion himself. And another underlying story is who's going to be next on his career ender list. Is it going to be Randy Orton? Is it going to be Brock Lesnar? Or is it going to be someone else? We don't know. But I will give the Men's Royal Rumble a solid 8 out of 10. And overall, I will give the 2026 Royal Rumble a 7.6 out of 10. So, B minus, C plus. Great event. Can't wait for Elimination Chamber. But anyway, you guys drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think. What was your favorite spots from this Royal Rumble? What was your favorite Royal Rumble moment? And what was a couple things that you think they could have done better? And your overall rating or letter grade. I'm the Dread Man for Wrestling Greatness. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.